hello. I guess this is part two to watching One Piece for the first time. Back, or if you're new, welcome. My name's Lauren, and well, I have a YouTube channel based on a lot of things, mainly books, vlogs, but occasionally I like to weeb out on my channel, and that is the case with One Piece. So I guess I'm making a series of my reactions to episodes and things like that, and just like reviews as I'm going along. So if you want to, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all my medias, they're always linked down below, and the usual spiel I give at the end of my videos, but welcome. And yeah, I'm at episode, let's double check this joint because I really don't know. 77. So basically at this arc, they finally entered the Grand Line. By the way, I've watched Nami's arc. It was fantastic. It was phenomenal. I really felt like the group came together as a team in that moment. And it was just another one of those moments that made me feel like watching the backstory made me love the character even more. It made them a favorite character in my head. It's hard to pick a favorite because I think I love each character for different things in this show. And yeah, I don't know. I love them all. I love them all. One thing I will say after watching Nami's arc and like following through past the Grand Line is that I wish we knew more about Luffy at this moment. I know it's coming because I've seen slight spoilers, not enough in order to like ruin the story for me, but slight spoilers of what happens at episode 400 and beyond. I know there's a backstory for Luffy and I know it's coming, but it's hard watching some scenes not knowing Luffy's purpose and like why he does certain things. Because for example, we've reached the Grand Line. We've also seen this in the Alabaster, I believe that's what the place is called. That arc, I've watched basically the giant fight and everything like that. Some parts of the fight were just goofy. Like it's definitely not my favorite One Piece fight ever. There've definitely been favorites. For example, Arlong Park had fantastic One Piece fight moments. But for this arc, it wasn't my favorite in part because the fights were so goofy. And I feel like I trust One Piece in the fact that they're probably steadily building up towards this big emotional spiel. And I just trust in the process, so I'm gonna trust in it. But we're kind of in one of those lulls, and in doing so, there's also lulls in the fighting, I would say. There's been a lot of goofy fights, especially on Luffy's end. And some stuff I'm literally like, bro, like, why do you lack seriousness so much? Like, why do you lack seriousness? I like the goofiness in One Piece, but sometimes I feel like it goes overboard to a sense where it's like, okay, I get the bit. Let's move on. Where he gets caught up in like how cool something is. And he is slightly, I guess you could say, on a stupid spectrum of characters. So that it also explains that. But there are some points where I'm just like, can you be serious? For once, please be serious. I think because there's lack of backstory and also because of his goofiness, sometimes he feels more of a caricature at this moment in the anime. Like I liked him all at first because I knew he was willing to die for what he wanted to do. But part of me is like, okay, but like beyond that, what are you?
I bet we see Scully and Mulder. And who the hell are you?
What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Beyond meat, beyond just finding things like cool, like what exactly is it that makes being a pirate bring you so much joy? I feel like we don't have that for him, which makes it hard to appreciate his moments beyond like comedic relief, because we don't get a sense of depth of him yet. The same that way we could do with Sanji or Usopp or Nami or Zoro. Like we just don't get that yet. So it's hard to continue liking him considering the depth that other characters get as opposed to Luffy. Right now I feel like the other characters are what's keeping me in the show, and Luffy just happens to be the comedic relief at moments. Like for example, the giant arc. Usopp has a big moment where he's like, he realizes he wants to fight with pride with the giants, which I think was the peak part of the giant arc for me. Like Usopp for once fights like with minimum fear. Usopp for me represents like the normal person. Like I feel like there's a lot of moments throughout the show so far where I've really enjoyed his character because he's so weak and because he's so cowardly at certain points, and he feels a reasonable sense of fear. Something that Luffy doesn't and some of the other characters just don't, because they face obviously very traumatic hard things. But Usopp, he's a normal person. He's like us. So like seeing his triumphs and seeing him grow as a character is just such a joy to me. Those are my thoughts so far, I guess. I'm gonna move on and I'll give you updates whenever I get the chance. Welcome back. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more time for respect for Nami's character. Is she the backbone of the ship? Let's be honest. She and Zoro. Look, cause my sis got sick in episode 78 and these what? I love her. I'm sorry. I love it. That's my sister. That's my sister. She knows what's up. The fact that like she could predict weather in the Grand Line, which is said to be impossible by Vivi. Nah, give her flowers. Anyways, back to the show. Yo. I just reached episode 79. Nami's sick, at risk of dying. Vivi got shot Is that what's happening? Is this one of those One Piece cliffhangers where it's like, it looks more serious where it is? Let that be the case. Because what is happening? Anyways, I guess let's get back into it. Okay, I had to stop again because, bro, there's an amazing moment in episode 80. For one, the cliffhanger was actually one of those tricks where it just grazed the arm. Like, she wasn't injured gravely, thank God for Vivi. But another is that I really love the fact that we have Vivi as a character in here, in this arc, because she literally said in this line that Luffy is not fit to be captain. And I will admit, part of me has been wondering why Luffy is the captain, other than the fact that he wants it the most, like he wants to be king of the pirates the most and everything like that. But he does deserve it in that sense. But in another sense, it's like, he's kind of stupid. Like, when you think of captains, when you think of people in charge, when you think of leaders, it's someone that bolsters the team, but it's also someone that's like, there's something about the leader in some way that makes them worthy of leading the team. Now, obviously, like, the entire Straw Hat pirates, they're all reckless in a way. What brings them together is their recklessness, is their willingness to act, is their willingness to put their lives on the line. That's what brings the Straw Hats together. But the other part of me is like, okay, but like, you can't always act recklessly. And I like Vivi because she brought into the fact that she literally told Luffy that he's not fit to be captain because he always acts recklessly. Like, he doesn't think things through. And I love that because that's part of what I was thinking this entire time. I'm like, you can't always act recklessly. You can't fix everything in a fight. And I liked it because she brought it to Luffy's attention and he's actually like acknowledged the fact that she's right about that by like actually bowing down and everything. So that's a fantastic moment. I love that. Amazing. Love the way that they include that into this scene. Yeah, another thing that I found off about Luffy is that he doesn't train much, and I'm hoping we could see more of him actually training in the future in the series. Because we can see how Zoro's fighting to get stronger. We can see how like Nami is like fighting and becoming a better navigator by being the Grand Line. Sanji honestly hasn't gotten much training. Usopp, we've seen a lot of development in terms of like fighting and like gaining will and determination and stuff like that. So I don't know, just more development with Luffy would be nice. I would like to see that, but I know it's coming, so I'm gonna be patient. But yeah, this is interesting. Really looking forward to watching more. So every single character in the show got a sad backstory. Good to know. Alright, hi. I figured it's about time I did my wrap-up review for all the episodes leading up to 100. I'm now at 105 and I'm gonna continue on from here, and I decided that I'm actually just gonna continue doing these One Piece videos in 50 episode increments instead of 100 episode increments. Simply because a lot happens in 50 episodes, and I feel like if I don't do it every 50 episodes, it's just gonna feel like I'm skipping out on a lot of information, a lot of story, and just a lot. So every 50 episodes, I'll probably do a One Piece video. So I guess look forward to that. But here's my review for the episodes leading up to 100. I really like Chopper's arc, which you guys probably saw. Like, it got really emotional, and I think it was done very, very well. For example, the fact that like Chopper was just a creature that ate a human gum fruit, which is interesting, which has just made him into like a half deer, half human being. That was really interesting. I like it. Chopper in general is just an interesting character with really interesting powers. Like the fact that he has several different forms, which all like have their own benefits in their own way. He can talk to animals, like, and he's a doctor. That's an impressive ass character. Chopper's story was really interesting, and I liked he like had his own found family in the beginning from this failed doctor. Usually like the person that adopts any like character in a story, they're like a Mary Sue kind of character where it's like they're perfect and took care of them no matter what. But this character is exceptionally flawed in the fact that he was like a doctor that never was able to cure anybody. Like, he basically made people's illnesses worse. So people did not look forward to seeing him at all, and it was cool to see him fail all the time, and yet still like take in this like one dear kid, bring him along, and still treat him to try his best or to help people, even if like the result isn't the best, because at least you tried. Like that kind of stuff, you know? And that was the mindset that the dad even had toward the kingdom, and part of the reason he died, which was really fantastically and well done. I love that whole arc. The fact that like his symbol of hope was like the pirate symbol, which is also a symbol of death and poison, and how Chopper accidentally poisoned his dad, but the dad didn't want the poison to be the thing that killed him, so he eventually just did. You know, and like the fact they pulled up to the kingdom, despite the fact that like the king clearly did not care about the people, because he cared about the people so much, and he just went what was best for everybody. He pulled up despite knowing that was probably a trap on the off chance where it's like they really needed another doctor in order to help. It was all well done. It was so well done. So I really enjoyed Chopper's arc, but after that, like the story's dragged for me. Like the Alabasta arc is dragged, I will be honest, and here's part of the reason why. So for one, the dialogue did not hit the same. It simply was not as good, and I think it partly had to do with a lot of dialogue was grouped. Like, so for example, I feel like in the past arcs, each of the characters like had their own say. Like, none of them really said the same thing. It really showed their individuality as characters, their different mindsets, all the other stuff. But in this arc, I feel like all of the characters, a decent amount of times they said this exact same thing. They had the exact same arguments, and it just overall felt really repetitive and didn't give the chance for each of the individuality of the characters to shine as much. I don't know if it's because we're leading up to like a bigger thing in the future, but a lot of it felt like dragged comedy sketches, a lot like filler in the sense where like it didn't really show much happening other than the state Alabasta was in. But even then, I felt like they could have showed it in a more condensed version. I didn't require them like going around in different adventures. They were basically just for the sake of comedy. Speaking on the sense of like not really showing the individuality of characters, is it Luffy or Luffy? That's another thing. Can y'all clarify that for me in the comments if at all possible? But Luffy, I'm gonna call him Luffy from now on because my brother calls him Luffy. Luffy has just not, like, he's been used a lot for comedic relief because he's like the quote-unquote dumb character, like that's his thing. But I think that's made me dislike his character more in this arc simply because he's been used a lot for comedic relief. We don't see his serious side, which came out a lot more often in the previous arcs because his personal beliefs provoke his more serious side, and even though he's still like a goofy character, which is like obviously part of the reason he's a likable character, his serious side is part of the reason why like a lot of the crew respects him, because he is so serious about his dreams and he is so serious about making sure other people that he trusts and other people he deems necessary in his life also get to see out their dreams. Like, that's part of the reason we love Luffy. But in this, we just see him gallivanting off doing dumb things. Like, I think the desert like part of the Alabasta arc is really dumb for me because Luffy just does so many like stupid things that could have easily be avoidable. Like, for example, falling for like the bird trap and then losing all of their food and water. I get like Luffy is the stupid character, but does he have to do all the stupid things in that arc? Does he really? It made me dislike him a bit in this arc so far. But I think we're going back on track in like 105 because they finally said they're gonna stop wandering the desert, thank God, because that was exhausting to get through, which is part of the reason. It dragged, bro, it dragged so much. So yeah, I think they did Luffy's character dirty so far in this arc, but I think that's gonna change moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, along with that, there's just been no, other than Chopper's like whole arc, which I loved so much. I'm happy that was one of the first Grand Line things that we got to see, but other than that, there hasn't really been too many standout interactions. Like, even the giant interaction, it's not my favorite section of the story, but even I found that more remarkable. The 10-15 episodes, just them wandering in the desert. So like, other than like the giants, which I found interesting and unique because the giants' interaction with each other was very touching and just it told a lot, I felt. Usopp's and Luffy's like respect for the giants, that was cool. Chopper's story, obviously enough said there. There are fantastic interactions, but there haven't been any remarkable tear-jerking or even like remarkable heartwarming interactions in the story so far. Like, even with Vivi, I think because like we don't know much about Vivi and the fact that she's a princess of the kingdom, like we don't see enough of her backstory, I think, for me to like sympathize with her too much or like empathize with her too much or feel like she's a real character other than like the caricature of the princess seeking out help from other people. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just wasn't hitting as well as I thought. So like the character interactions just haven't been as good. One interesting thing I do see is Ace. Ace is a cool character. I like him. He's cool. I have a spoiler about what happens to him, but I'm just gonna keep pushing and pretend like I know nothing. But I honestly love his character so far. He's like a really cool big brother character. I'm looking forward to seeing his backstory because we still haven't seen how him and Luffy met. I have a feeling that's gonna make me even like Luffy's character more and like get him back on track to like how much I liked him earlier. Anyways, I guess that's my general review for leading up to episode 100. Now I'm only a tenth of the way through. We got 900 episodes to go. Looking forward to everything else, but thank you guys so much for watching as per usual. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my medias. They're always linked down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.